Well, guys, it's the day after Race Wars, and the truck didn't fare too well yesterday. I didn't even get a full pass, and it broke. We're gonna get her off the trailer, find out what happened. All right, the truck's back up on the blocks where it has spent so much of its life. And I'm gonna see how long it takes me to get this transmission out. I tried to make it pretty easy to work on. Like all the transmission bolts on the bell housing were pretty easy to get to until all this wiring got in there. Now it's not so easy to get ratchets and wrenches back there, but maybe it will be. So I'm kind of curious as to how long it's going to take me. I'm going to start a timer and see if I can whip it out in an hour. But I'm gonna take my time. Like, I'm not rushing. Like, I'm gonna drain all the oil out first because this pan actually has a drain plug. And you know, that way I might not lose so much of the oil at the back when I pull the drive shaft out. Yeah, if I can get it out in an hour, that's cool. You know, I'm doing it solo as well. But yeah, I'm just gonna get to it and we'll see how long this takes. 1 hour, 14 minutes. That's how long it took me to get the tranny out. If it wasn't for one stupid bolt that probably took about 20 minutes to get out, it would have been quicker. But hour and 14 by myself, not too bad. All right, there she is. Dragged her out from under there. So I'm gonna pull the torque converter out first, because my suspicion is it's the input shaft. So I'm gonna try and yank that sucker off. Hopefully it'll come off, and then we'll see if that shaft's in two pieces or not. I feel like that's not supposed to do that, and it feels rough. Like it's catching on the brake. I'm pretty sure that's broken. I can feel it. Yeah, feel that? Or see that? I was really hoping to see if there's a part number on this so I can verify that the shop that built this tranny put a hardened input shaft in, because I paid for a hardened input shaft. And those shafts can usually take over 1,000 horsepower. And I'm not, I mean, I'm probably making 1,000 at the crank, but it should be able to take, it should be able to take more than that. So I'm not gonna start pulling the pump apart, because I'm gonna take this tranny back to the guy that built it. And I don't wanna take it there all molested. I want him to open it up for the first time, so he can't blame me for messing anything up. But yeah, input shaft, that'll give you all your neutrals. All right guys, I just wanted to show you something here. I just picked up my new input shaft for my transmission. The old one I had taken out, and sure enough, it broke just like I thought it did. And it sheared off clean. Like, that is one clean break. And this is the problematic area on these input shafts. This is a hardened input shaft. This is an upgraded one from factory. And the guy that built the transmission said he has never seen one break. Glad I can be the first one, for him anyway. But yeah, he's put these in a lot of high horsepower applications, and he's never seen one break. So we are upgrading even more. And this is the one that I just picked up. And everything's pretty much the same width-wise until you get to here. This is the big difference with these input shafts for the 4L80s. This groove, that's the weakest point. So they've gotten rid of the groove and they just carried the splines right into the thicker part of the shaft. So this brand, Sonax is like one of the most popular brands to go with. This was a Sonax shaft. This is not a Sonax shaft. This one is made by Transmission Specialties and it's on Summit's website. So you'll find that the Sonax and the Transmission Specialties shafts look very, very similar. Made out of the same material. Hopefully this one is just as strong because big price difference. To get the Sonax, like, okay, this shaft, 280 bucks Canadian. The Sonax shaft that looks like this with no splines, or with the splines carrying further so there's no groove, is about $1,300 Canadian. This shaft here was about 450 bucks Canadian. It's made, I looked at the specs, it's got the same design as the Sonax, it's made out of the same material as the Sonax, but it's significantly cheaper. Like a little over a third the cost. But hopefully I have more luck with this guy. And hopefully we don't snap her right away, because that's what happened with this guy. First race, broke. So we're gonna get this one, I'm gonna drop this off right now at the tranny shop, and he says he can toss it in pretty quick and I can get this thing back up and running again. All right guys, transmission's back. New shaft is in, and we actually have a new pump as well. So there was actually a list of problems going on here. There was a couple problems aside from the shaft breaking. Before that even broke, I was having a problem with the engine stalling out when I come down to idle. So if I downshift into first, come to a stop, or after a burnout, the truck would die. Something was weighing the motor down. So I suspected that there was a converter issue, and it turns out there was. So after I had intentions on taking the tranny out after the road racing event, but I mean, after the shaft broke, it was coming out. So I sent the converter back to the guy that built it, and what he noticed was there was some odd wear on the shaft. So here's my new converter back. There was wear on the shaft, irregular wear. And he had mentioned that the wear that was happening would indicate that there's a worn out bushing in the pump. Now, I feel that's unrelated, and the tranny, I feel that's unrelated to everything else that happened. The shaft broke just because it couldn't take the power. The clutches inside the converter were toast. That's why the converter was, it's almost like it was locked up. This is one of the clutches from the converter. This used to be flat. You can see it had some heat in it, but it's almost like it's concaved. It's warped. So that is no longer flat. And he said one of the other clutches is completely burnt up. So there was some heat problems going on in this converter. Whether I'm overpowering the converter, I don't think so. I shouldn't be. You know, I'm not even turned up yet. We're only at 800 horse. So it should be able to handle it. But I mean, there was a few problems going on here. So everything's been dealt with. The transmission oil was burnt. So I've got new clutches in the tranny now. They were not so pretty. But we're not 100% sure why everything happened the way it happened. I don't think I was low on fluid. The dipstick for this transmission is not the easiest one to read. I'll show you it. It's one of these guys. When you pull it out, it's plastic. See how the bottom's curved? That curve is because when it gets to the bottom of the pan's like right here. So then it curves and lays like on the bottom of the pan. So it's kind of hard to tell exactly how much fluid's in it. And that is supposed to be the proper dipstick for this transmission. But my feeling is, I have a feeling that dipstick works better in a deep pan. This is not a deep pan, it's a shallow. Right, it's not that deep of a pan. So the dipstick goes in and kind of lays out like that inside it. But we should be in good shape now. Converter's fixed, transmission's fixed. It won't take me very long to get back in the truck. So I'm just gonna start ripping into this. And hopefully I can get it done before the night gets too old. So I'm hoping I can have this all knocked out in about 2 hours, complete. And maybe get some sleep tonight. All right, I'm gonna get to it. All right, guys, got the transmission done. I wanna show you something I picked up though. So I picked up some insulation / sound deadening material, and it's got the heat reflective siding to it. And the other side is, it's got adhesive. You peel the paper off and it's sticky. I bought that for the ice water tank because the last time I was at the track, I got a warning because this thing was sweating like crazy because it was so hot and humid out, and like the tank was dripping water. So I'm gonna wrap this tank with that insulation and hopefully that gets rid of any of the sweating. But I think because I had so much, I'm like, where else can I use this? Well, the floor of this truck, that gets pretty hot because the heat from the transmission, engine, everything, that floor gets toasty. So while I had the transmission out, you can see I did the underside of the floor. Everything above the transmission. And it stuck really, really well. Just because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have a ton left over, it seemed like the best time to do that. Hopefully it keeps the temperatures inside the truck down and kills some of the sound a little bit too. So, transmission is done. It's in, it's topped up, it's ready to go. But while the truck is in here, I want to address some other issues. One being the tank, two being the pump that pumps the ice water from the tank through the intercooler. The one I have in there right now, I'll show you. It's a 19 liter per minute or 319 gallon per hour pump. And I'm switching it up to a 35 liter per hour, or it's like a 520 or 540 gallon per hour pump. Pump looks the same except one noticeable difference. If you look, that pump is all black. And this is what I've noticed with these pumps. The one that pushes more, it'll have the red end on it. So this guy's supposed to pump not quite double the amount, but probably about 80% more. I do have, oh, I'm full. So I got lots of water in there. I'm gonna drain some out because I want to see just how far, when this pump runs, how far it shoots the water in. And then we'll switch the pump out and we'll see how far the water shoots with the new pump in. So I'm gonna drain some of this water out and we'll see what it looks like. So it's been draining for a few minutes now. Almost halfway. We'll stop it there. So I've already got the intercooler switch on inside. All I gotta do is give it power. So I can turn it on right here. So that's how much she blasts. So if we're looking at it from the hole, you know, maybe a third the way into this opening. Okay, I'm gonna quickly pull that pump off. Slide this one in its place. This should take me all about 3 or 4 minutes, and we'll see what kind of a difference it makes. All right, well, the next step is going to be to pull this tank off. We're going to get it wrapped, insulated, and back in. Okay, she's all wrapped up. I do have to try and clean some of this crap off. Maybe some Goo Gone or something. Because like I said, once it sticks, it sticks. Closed up all my seams with some aluminum foil tape. I ran out, so I ended up using some Gorilla Tape to finish it. But that's the 4mm insulation. Sticks really, really well. And hopefully that will stop the condensation from forming on the other side and dripping all over the place. But all in all, I like it. Hopefully it fits back in place. You know, it's gonna be 4mm thicker, so I may have to really squish it against the frame to get my bolts back in. And I drained the tank down to half so we can compare how far it shot before with the old pump the way it is now. And it does shoot it a little further. That stream would hit the water right back here before, now it's hitting it over here. So it is shooting it a little further. which tells me it is moving the water a little bit faster. I wouldn't say it's close to double, but it is moving a little faster. This looks great with the insulation on it, and hopefully that keeps it from sweating. Okay, so with the transmission fixed and improvements made upon the intercooler system, all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make a few bar adjustments with the rear end, and we're gonna get this thing back at the track. I don't have a lot of time left. I am expected to go to LS Fest, and that's less than a month away. So I gotta get this thing dialed in. Next video, we're back at the track, and let's see if we can improve upon what we've done so far. But that's it for this video. We'll see you guys next time.